on our mobile app, the Teledoctor app. I told you this app is now available through Apple Store and through Google Play as well. So just go there and look for Teledoctor and you find us there. Download this app and it's very easy.
Never shown signs of sickle cell. How can I have a child with sickle cell? So it's very simple and I'll explain it to you, okay? On top here is an individual who doesn't have sickle cell. All right. In order for us to have anything in our system, we inherit one component from.
So what then is epilepsy? In simple terms, it's a brain disorder characterized by unprovoked seizures. I must mention that not everyone with a seizure has epilepsy. So you need to go to the hospital when you have a seizure or when you know someone with a seizure.
And today I'm going to talk about male birth control, in particular vasectomy.
Remember, our Teledoctor app is available. Do download it for yourself and you'll be impressed. The features you have, you can make an appointment there. You can talk immediately. You can choose the doctor you want to speak to. And that is what we are saying, empowering the people, giving you the doctor in the palms of your hands.
Teledoctor.
Hello, a very good morning to you all and welcome to your favorite show, your Teledoctor show. My name is Professor Wilbrod Mutale and it's a pleasure on this, the 3rd of February, to come to you this morning. As you might know, we changed our timetable slightly to accommodate the football fans, and so we are coming with your Teledoctor show every Saturday at 10 hours, and we are here again packed with messages for you, information about what really matters to you. So the past few months you have heard frenzy about paternity testing. There have been media talk and other prominent people being asked to confirm if they are the real parents. And so many people have been asking your Teledoctor team, what does that mean? And today in our studio we have brought an expert, and we'll hear a little bit about him. Just stay tuned. But before we go further, let's listen to a word from Zambia Sugar, our good sponsors.
Esther! How are you? Fine, thank you. How are you? You like white spoon sugar? Oh, yes, I do. Hi. Thank you so much. Stir it up. Stir a little happiness. Stir a little sweetness. And add some sugar to my world. Hey. Stir it up. There's no sugar. Stir it up. Stir a little happiness. Stir a little sweetness with white spoon sugar.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Zambia Sugar. So this morning, like I mentioned to you as I opened this show, we are discussing paternity testing. And in the studio today is a special guest, and this is no other than Mr. Innocent Makasa.
Yes.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning, Prof.
And welcome to our show.
Thank you.
All right. So before we go very far, I want you to just talk about who is Mr. Makasa.
So briefly, Mr. Makasa is a forensic genetist, and I work in the Ministry of Home Affairs and Internal Security.
Yes.
I'm married. I have 3 children. Yeah, and I'm a state forensic analyst at the National Forensic Science and Biometrics Department.
Excellent, and we'll talk more about that.
Sure.
But do you have any hobbies, Mr. Makasa? Because most of the people in the lab and in the hospital look too serious for my liking.
Sure, mostly, I have very few. Mostly I just do farming. So I like livestock farming. So I like animals so much. So that's every time I have some space, I just
go to your farm.
Go to my farm. Yes.
That's a good hobby, actually, very good for relaxing as well. It's very different from what we do in the hospital.
Sure.
Excellent. No, thank you very much. So, Mr. Makasa, we know about you now. The discussion for today is paternity testing. So what is that?
So paternity testing is paternity meaning we're just focusing on the relationship of the offspring with the father.
Okay.
The paternal side.
So what is the offspring?
The offspring could be it's a child.
Okay.
So we're looking at the child and the biological relationship with the father.
Okay.
So we test that, and the biometric we get, or the thing we look at, is the DNA.
Okay.
The DNA contribution of the father to the child.
Okay, good.
So that's
again, I'll ask a little bit. What is DNA?
Yes, so DNA, so these are just abbreviations. Deoxyribonucleic acid is the full name. So DNA is basically the genetic material which parents pass on to their children. So DNA makes people. So DNA is responsible for structure or for appearance of people, the behavior, and a number of things. But these, we inherit them from our parents. Yes, 50% from the mother, 50% from the father. In
so
most
when
cases.
you want to confirm the dad, you can actually do some tests and they will link the child to the father, even if the father is saying no, 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 no.
Yes, even if the father is saying no, no, no. Even if the mother is sure it's the father, we're able to link them if they are biologically responsible or related with the child.
I like biologically responsible. That's a good one. So viewers, if you are there, we'll open up the lines. The line is going to be shown on your screen. We are discussing paternity, very controversial issue. So do let other people know who want to who want to know a little bit about this, to come and join us on Diamond TV. We are also showing live on Diamond TV Facebook page as well. So do please join us, and you'll be having an opportunity to actually ask us questions as we go along. So what I want to do is just to take a small break because I mentioned to you that Teledoctor wants to make your care easier, your finding the doctors easier, your lab tests easier. So what we have done is to create a one-stop shop in the mobile app for Teledoctor. So let's just listen to one message about the cartoon which talks about how you can download that Teledoctor app, and it's on iOS, it's also on Apple Store. You can download, and immediately you can call a doctor of your choice, make an appointment, and then they can also consult, write the minutes there. They can make requests there for labs and requests also. We can also do prescriptions on that platform. So why are you not on the Teledoctor app? Let's listen to a cartoon just now.
Ambuya, are you okay? Thankfully, with the Teledoctor app, you can get premium healthcare from the comfort of your home. With the Teledoctor app, all it takes is a click, and you could not only have a nurse or doctor come and see you, you can also receive specialized services such as nursing and physiotherapy.
You see, Teledoctor aims to make access to healthcare services cheaper, faster, and convenient.
How are you? Fine, thank you. How are you? You like white spoon sugar? Oh, yes, I do. Hi. Thank you so much. Stir it up. Stir a little happiness. Stir a little sweetness. And add some sugar to my world. Hey. Stir it up. There's no sugar.
So we are discussing paternity testing and why it matters to you and what you need to know, because in some way, somehow, as we grow, as we go in our workplaces, these questions arise. And so just knowing where to go and what helps, what doesn't help, is very, very important. So that's why we brought this topic to you. And then there have been public outcry, obviously, there. Should somebody do a paternity? Is this something available in Zambia routinely? And today, Mr. Makasa is here to answer those good questions. And we'll give you a chance to call him and answer very shortly. But let me ask him a few more questions about forensic medicine or forensic practice.
Sure. So forensic practice basically is the use of science to resolve crime or in legal matters.
Okay.
So that's forensic science. So it came from the word forensis, meaning the forum.
Okay.
So previously, so the forensic medicine practice or forensic science practice, basically we are offering science to law enforcement agencies in this case, where we are analyzing forensic samples for law enforcement agencies in Zambia to resolve crime, for them to investigate a crime using physical evidence, which is analyzed scientifically in our facilities.
Okay, good.
Sure.
So just give an example of a situation where this forensic practice has been useful to the law enforcement agents.
Sure. Currently, we are proud as Zambia to have an in-house or in-country facility which is analyzing a forensic DNA in sexual crimes.
Okay.
So when a person is raped or defiled, now medical officers, the police through medical officers are collecting evidential material deposited on the body of the victim and bring to our laboratory for analysis.
Okay.
So we are able now to tell who defiled or raped a person. So the victims do not necessarily need to know who raped them.
Yeah.
The moment the swabs are collected from the hospital, they brought to our lab, we're able to now know who committed that offense.
Cool. But how are you going to find that person? Don't you have to have his equivalent? Because, for example, somebody does this and then they go away. And then you get the DNA, but there's no way of confirming that that's the person. How do you do this?
Yes, so we are developing a database now, a national database. So most people will be in that database.
Okay.
So now we don't even rely to have the actual person. So we can even trace them through their relatives. So we can tell through our database that the person who committed this is related
to Peter Piri.
Yes, then we pass on that information to investigators, who then will investigate and get relatives to that suspect.
Oh, this is really interesting. All right. Yes. And now there's this other issue of paternity. How do you use this forensic medicine in resolving paternity conflicts?
Yes, so there are a lot of cases that we receive from local courts, from magistrates, where people contest paternity.
Okay.
Not only contesting paternity, we also have cases where there are conflicts in inheritance. So some children are told to be not there because the father has passed on, and they might have listed some children who are not known to the current family setup.
All right.
So in those cases, there are conflicts. And then people run to our laboratory for testing. So we do paternity testing. So we will get the bones, or if the mother to the deceased is there, we'll use the DNA to infer relationship with the child who is being contested.
Okay.
So we do all those things.
What about, I think one of the common thing which is like traumatizing in our context is like the woman points to you that you are responsible for this baby, and the guy is refusing. And those
are the majority cases, Prof. So we have majority cases where men actually are refusing to be the father or parents of the children.
Yeah.
So those cases also come under the majority, I must say.
Yeah.
And we are doing tests. So those, they have to go to court, like we'll discuss later. They have to go through other
how
aspects.
People can access that service.
Yes, but we are doing all that aspect as well.
Okay.
Sure.
So when you want to do this paternity testing, you talked about DNA, but there's do people have to agree, or how do you do it? Because maybe let's begin from this question. How does paternity in Zambia, how do we confirm paternity? Like, how do we, how do we do that? I'm the father, how do we do it? By appointment, by what?
It's by assumption. So basically the current situation, in the absence of a law that makes mandatory DNA testing to infer paternity.
Yes.
Therefore, the current paternity situation in Zambia is on assumption.
Okay.
Once it's assumed that you are the father when you are married to that girl or to that lady and she has a child. You are assumed to be the father, the legal father. Also, when the mother or the lady points at you that you are the father, you are assumed to be the father.
Is that good or bad?
It's tricky, but then biologically or genetically, because I'm a forensic genetist, biologically I think it's not good.
Okay.
People need, if it's a biological, anyway, if it's a social relationship, it's okay.
It's okay.
But if it's a biological relationship, it's not okay because of, the cases, nowadays we are having like organ transplants. We are faced with issues of, in terms of organ transplants, you may need a biological person who are related to you biologically.
To donate.
To donate the organ. So it's difficult if you know different people as your biological relatives, yet not.
Okay.
So it's very important that biologically let children, I don't know whether it's a right or they have an interest, children have an interest to know their biological relationship.
Excellent. Thank you so much. This is controversial, but I'm just wanting to make sure that people's questions, whatever is on their minds, are brought to our attention today. Okay, we are discussing paternity and we'll be opening up the lines for you to ask Mr. Makasa, who is our expert who is in the studio today. They are running a lab at Levy, which is a national lab where they can confirm the paternity of a child who is the dad, especially the dad, because the moms, once they appoint at somebody, it's assumed they are daddies. That's how our laws work here. But then if there's contestation, you can actually go, but there's a process, and we'll come back to that point, how you can go and request for that test. Okay, so you've mentioned, like, in your everyday practice that you are seeing defilement, you are seeing also paternity testing, and also forensics.
Sure.
Okay. What are some of the most intriguing tests that you have found? Like, one, just give an example. Don't say the names. Like some of the things which came out shocking because people came there and they didn't even believe that would happen. I don't know if you're allowed to talk about that.
Yes, so no, I'll just talk about the importance of our laboratory to resolving crime.
Excellent.
Because when we open this, the majority people are commenting about our laboratory in terms of paternity.
Yeah.
Well, we're doing paternity, but just a small component
of that.
But mostly we are, even I can here say that we're exonerating people. So we've had a number of cases where the police have arrested someone for an offense which is sexually related. But when we do the DNA, we find that actually those people are not the ones. Yeah. And the police are able to release those and focus their investigations in the right direction. So a lot of innocent people, some innocent people, not a lot, who may have been falsely accused are being exonerated using the DNA laboratory at Levy. So it is a very important laboratory.
All right, so I want to move on. How can somebody, what are the protocols of actually getting this done in Zambia?
Yeah, so the way you get the paternity testing done in Zambia at our laboratory, first of all, I would say for private laboratories, you can just walk in there, go there, and they will tell you their conditions, and then you fulfill those, they do the test. But for a government laboratory like ours, you need to go through the court. So you need to declare a dispute through the court, in the courts of law, and then the court will give you a court order to do paternity testing. You then come with that court order to the laboratory for testing. That's first instance. The second instance is where if you can't go to court, go to the chief. Then declare a dispute through the chief system. They'll sit you down and the chief will write to our facility for a DNA test. So you come with that letter from the chief, and it must be accompanied by a consent form or a consent letter from the mother biological mother of the child, if the child is below the age of 16 years.
Okay.
The second instance is where you go to any church which is a member of the three mother bodies.
Yes.
Church mother bodies. So you go there, they'll sit you down, and then the church will write to our laboratory. Then you come with that letter and a consent form from the mother.
So let me summarize this one. So for the last two, the church and the chief, you need consent from the mother.
Yes, you need.
But the first one in the courts, you can just come without the mother agreeing. You can go as long as you have got an order from them.
Yes.
Okay. Can somebody just walk into your laboratory and say, I'm very annoyed. This woman is a problem. Can you do any corruption in any way to get this to yourself done?
No, so they will not. And the beauty about it, so current now in Zambia, forensic practice is regulated.
Okay.
So and there are penalties there, criminal penalties when corruption is involved. So those who may want to be corrupt at our laboratory, they are on their own.
Yeah.
Because the law is there.
Yeah.
To mitigate that. And we have a regulator of the practice.
Excellent.
So we are monitored.
Okay, good.
Sure.
So you can't corrupt people there. You need to go through the process we have said, the courts of law, your chief, and through also your church. Then you can go and request for this test. So this is really clear. So when now this is done, consent has been obtained, somebody comes to your laboratory. What do you do there?
So what we do now is we bring the three parties mostly. So after the Ndola issue, where there was...
Can you explain Ndola issue?
So the Ndola issue was where children were alleged to have been swapped.
Yeah.
And the samples were collected and brought to our laboratory where we did the analysis. And indeed, we confirmed that there was a possible swapping.
Yes.
So children were then given back to their respective correct parents. So we noticed that in our health system, there is that gap where it's possible to swap. Because if the father didn't notice that, that would have gone like that.
Yeah.
Now, if in future there was a paternal conflict in those families and they brought wrong children for testing, and we just test the father and the child, then we say they are not related, yet the child was swapped is also not related to the mother. Then the mother will be falsely accused of being unfaithful to the husband and getting children from outside. So from that end, we've made a policy within our laboratory that we always test three samples: the mother, the child, and the alleged father.
Okay.
So that
I like the alleged father.
Yes.
Because of assumption in this.
Sure.
Okay, good. And then what happens? You get samples. Where
so
do you get
the three come, then we get barcode swabs.
Okay.
So we just swab the mouth.
In the mouth?
Yes, in the mouth. We just swab in the mouth. It's painless, non-invasive, and WHO actually made the barcode swabs to be non-intimate as well. So so it's a non-intimate swab, which we just get from the mouth. And then we test. That's all we do. We don't get blood.
Okay, good. No blood?
No blood.
No needles?
No needles. Just swabs.
You got it right. Just no needles there. You go, they swab your mouth, and they get the sample. And when they give it to you, how long does it take for the result to come back?
2 weeks.
Okay.
All things being equal, if we have the reagents, it takes 2 weeks.
Okay, good. And then how do you manage the results that come out?
So when we get the results, of course, the results go through a series of quality checks within the laboratory. That's why it takes 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And once we're satisfied, in fact, we repeat twice for us just to be sure. And then once the results are out, we then communicate to the institution that sent the couple to our laboratory.
Repeat that. You don't send to the patient, you send to the institution.
Yes.
Why is that?
So why is that? Paternity test results are tricky, regardless of the outcome. Even so, we need the institutions that are sending these parents for testing to our laboratory. They need to do some counseling when they are giving out the results. They need to prepare the families for what, regardless of the outcome. They also need to prepare the children for the results. If the children are above 16 years, they can sit them down and explain just to prepare them for the results.
So the lab does not offer counseling or support to the victims when they come, when you give results?
No, at the moment, no. So at the moment, we are not servicing individuals.
No.
We are servicing institutions.
Okay, I like that. So, in your practice, what can be the outcome of a test? Let's think about the paternity. What can be the result? What are some of the, like, give scenarios? Results can be like this, they can be like this, and then we can move from there.
Yes, so in the paternity testing, so I'll quickly just mention also in the criminal cases, there are 3 types of results. It's either it's confirmed or not confirmed or unresolved.
Okay.
Yes, that's that. But for paternity, there's just 2. It's either you are the father or you are not. So it's either positive or negative. So
there's no unresolved.
No unresolved, because those are reference samples, and the system we have is excellent. It's state of art, and it's the now.
So you are a dad or not?
You are a dad or not?
Oh, I like that.
That's true.
Okay,
yes.
Good. And then, so now these guys, they take the results. I want you to talk about the implications, some of the positive implications, and just a few examples. Then I'll open up the lines to our viewers to ask you some questions.
So there are in small cases where if you are not a dad, why are you not a dad?
Okay.
Maybe you received a blood transfusion in the past 20 days. Because if we are using blood as a source of sample, and you received blood transfusion in the past 20 days, in the blood, red blood cell, they don't have DNA, the red blood cells. But what we target in the blood, the whole blood, are the white blood cells.
Yeah.
So when you got the transfusion, the white blood cells in that donated blood, their lifespan is only 20 days.
Yeah.
So if we collected that blood within that period, then we will get the DNA for the donor of the blood which is in you. Then in that case, you will not be the father.
Yeah. And it will be a wrong result.
It will be a wrong result. So every time we have these results, we have to also think about those. Even the institutions that are giving this, you don't just say you are not the father.
Yeah.
But is there any medical condition that may have altered the DNA results? So we also look at those issues. So if you are not the father, in most cases you are not the father. And we then communicate those. But again, if you are not the father and we didn't do the other test for the mother, we can't say
the story can't be complete.
It can't be complete.
No.
So we need to do the other test for the mother
as well,
so that we are sure
a full story is complete.
A full story is
Excellent.
complete. Yes.
All right. So you got that very, very right. That we actually do the test not for individuals, so the institution must ask, and then once the results are coming out, they are taken, and there are a lot of implications. Either for the dad, it's very simple: you are either the dad or you are not, and then from there, whatever social implication that will come can arise, and I'll come back to that, like what are some of the implications of the results. But since this is your show, ladies and gentlemen, I took time to just give a context, but it's your show. The number is displayed on the screen there. Please feel free to call us to speak to Mr. Makasa. We are discussing paternity. These are hot issues in families. People are still doubting if they are daddies, and so marriages have been broken, or some truth, if it's a crime, can't come out, and people have been arrested wrongly. And today we are discussing how can we make this simpler. So please do feel free to call me, and we are going to actually put you on air, and you can ask Mr. Makasa some questions. So as we wait for people to call in, Mr. Makasa, what are some of the social and kind of family implications of the results that you obtain for families, and what is your advice?
So that's a good question, Prof. So these results have social implications, regardless. So when there are conflicts in the family, and it gets to do DNA testing, one, the children know that you are doubting them.
That you are the dad.
That you are the dad. Then, even if after we do the test, it turns out to be true that you are actually the dad, still, even the mother will not be happy that you are accusing her of infidelity.
Yeah.
So then she will also, even if children are young, at one point in time, she will tell them what happened at some point where your father doubted you. So the children who have that altered relationship with the father because of that doubt. The mother will also have that altered relationship with the husband because of that doubt. So even when we want to seek these services, we have to be careful with these implications.
Okay, but I've got a caller. I'll stop you there. Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Welcome.
Yes, I wanted to ask you, do they charge for paternity testing?
Do they test for paternity testing? Is that your question?
Do they charge?
Or do they charge for paternity testing? Okay, excellent question. Thank you so much, sir.
You're welcome.
Thank you. All right, so maybe we can go to that quickly. Yes.
Yes, quickly. So we there is a fee which is which will come into effect soon, which is 1,250 kwacha per test.
Per test.
So you multiply by 3. That's 3,750 kwacha for one case.
The cycle of three.
Yes. So that will be in effect soon, but we're just putting legal framework in place for them to start paying to government that money. At the moment, when they bring the cases, before we put in that, we're doing it free.
For free.
For
yeah.
free.
So I think you got that one. It's free for now, but I think there's a process now so that they will be charging, I think, just to return the reagents and also the time for the people working there. Sure. Okay? And also for the private practitioners, you can also go to any private lab in Zambia and you can request this. But just know that that's your own question, and also you have to be ready to handle the results because there's no institution involved in there. So you can kill somebody in the house and things like that. Okay, we're just talking about social implications. Can you talk about something good about this? Is there anything good in doing? Because I think it's a very negative, like, but is there some good news that can come out of this testing?
I think yes. So you get to the child, especially to the child, they get to know the actual father, the biological father. And even for the father, when you are sponsoring or taking care of the children, you are sure, you know that indeed they're your children. Sometimes there are some women who may want to deprive a relationship of a child and a father. And they will lie to the father, say, it's not your child. But when you come to a lab and you confirm, then no one will deprive you the rights to support or have a relationship with your children.
Okay.
So that's also very
important. Okay. So viewers, we are still here, and the number is displayed on your screen. Please do feel free to call. Yeah. Feel free to call us. We've got a caller from Chipata. Good morning. Yes. Good morning.
Good morning. Thank you.
How is Chipata?
Chipata is very okay.
You guys don't have cholera there, right?
It's there, but very few cases.
Okay, we thank God for that. Please go ahead and ask. We are discussing paternity, and if you can just ask us any question you have.
Okay, I just wanted to find out, because I work under local court.
Okay, sure.
So, yes, I wanted to find out if we have that department in Chipata, Eastern Province.
Okay, how you can access this service. Excellent question.
Yes, because we really have a lot of cases of people denying the pregnancies from local court.
Excellent. Good point. Yes. Thank you so much. We would definitely address that question.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you so much. All right, so we've got a caller from Chipata wanting to find out how can somebody who is fighting the father would be cleared of this.
Yes,
from Chipata.
Sure, bro. We have I think 3 or 4 cases from Chipata.
Okay.
Yes. And unfortunately, the laboratory center is located, it's only in Lusaka.
Yeah.
And those who are outside Lusaka, they have to make arrangements with us.
Okay. How is that done?
So how it should be done is normally the clerk of court should get in touch with us. And then we find a way of collecting samples. Because one, it's either they travel from Chipata to Lusaka for sample collection. Like the 3 cases, I think they traveled, they managed to travel, or we can make arrangements. But when we make arrangements, then the laboratory will not be responsible
for
the mistakes that may happen at the point of sample collection.
Okay.
Because this is a forensic process, so we want to be sure with all the things. So even our reporting, when we report the results, we'll factor in a possible error at sample collection point.
Excellent.
Yes.
Okay, good. All right, so you can actually get in touch with your own local court that can help to send, the clerks can send this request, but also you can come send the victims, or I don't want to call them victims, the people to Lusaka or clients who can also make arrangements, but there are also caveats. So we are still here discussing paternity on your Teledoctor show, and we have heard a lot, and just to summarize just a little bit, that this is a service available for both crime and also for just settling paternity disputes. And in Zambia, the parent of the father is assumed. So once a woman points at you, or you have married her, you are the dad. But there are opportunities, like if you are doubting, to confirm that, and that's what we are saying here. But also knowing that there are implications, both negative and positive. For those that are looking for a dad to confirm, that can be a very happy occasion. But for others, just to do that, you can really cause negative consequences. So we have to be ready, and that's why when you request, it's coming through the institutions, either the local courts or the courts, whichever courts, and then the church, so that when the results are given to you, they are discussed in that context. So it should not be taken lightly. Why should not the testing be taken lightly, Mr. Makasa?
So the test should not be taken because of the consequences it has on the families, in society. So really, and I should mention that we've been talking about people working in 2 private labs. So even there, when they go, they can ask for either a legal DNA test and non-legal DNA test. So everything we are doing at our laboratory currently is a legal DNA test, which results you can use in courts. Therefore, we take everything seriously, from sample collection through to analysis and reporting of results. So DNA has a huge impact on family members, and family members, we are just not talking about husband and wife. They have 2 parents the other side, and 2 parents the other side. So it's a huge impact actually in the families, if whatever, especially when the results come out negative.
Excellent. Yes. Okay, we do have a caller. Good morning.
How are you?
Hi, good morning. How are you, sir?
I'm all right.
You are calling us from Lusaka?
Ibex.
Ibex, excellent. And you are taking care there that you are drinking good water and everything is good?
Always.
Excellent. Yeah. No, we want just to remind people we are not taking anything for granted. So please do go ahead. We're discussing paternity. Do you have any question? Yes, go ahead.
I've heard that sometimes you guys, instead of giving out the correct results, you end up and giving fake results because you are saying there are a lot of kids out there without parents. How true is it? This, because I've heard this from so many people saying that these guys actually, when you request for this, they end up giving wrong information to say, no, actually this is your kid, because of so many children without parents out there. How true is this statement?
That's a very good question, and I think Mr. Makasa, who is also, will answer that question. Thank you, sir, for calling.
You're welcome.
Good. Mr. Makasa, now you are in the courts of law.
Yes.
That you guys are faking results. Yeah, and how true is that?
It's a myth.
Okay.
Yes, it's one of the myths. I remember even the other time I mentioned on radio to say, people say, no, because you have gone to government would always want. No, government knows that the child, if not a right, then they have interest in knowing their biological father. So if that is the case, that we are faking results, then we can't have the current statistics where 60% of the results on paternity actually are confirming that the men are not the father. Only 40% of at least the cases we've had where we verify that indeed they were fathers. How do we do that? Such as
60% are not the fathers.
60% so far
the results that you have.
60% are not. So where the father is doubting and they're in court. In 60% of the cases,
they are not the fathers.
They're not the fathers.
So how is that managed now? Just from you as a lab, do you have anything to do with anything in terms of what happens after that when you say it's negative?
No. So after that, we just report to court. And we write our report very well such that they understand it.
Yes.
However, if they don't understand it, then they can always call our experts to go and explain the results to them.
So what happens if a dad, like the way I'm so comfortable with my children, and you say that I'm not the dad? Like, how do people react to this? Like, do people, what happens? Like, and it's something that's in your mind, actually, even when you're doing your test, that is in your mind, right?
Yes.
Like, if I send this, there's the marriage at stake, the children. What do the people mostly do if they get these results?
So I have to be very clear here that most of the cases we have, there's always...
we've got a caller. Good morning.
Good morning, Doc. How are you?
Fine, thank you. Welcome to our show. We are discussing paternity. Please go ahead and ask us your question.
So my question is, are they able to do paternity testing for a deceased in a situation where there is another woman claiming that my husband was father?
Okay. I think we got that right. Okay, sure. We'll answer that. Thank you so much for calling. Yes. Let's go quickly to that one.
Yes. Or maybe the conflict.
Yeah.
So the cases we do, there's always a conflict.
Yes.
So it's not a random. So we know that there's always a problem.
Yes.
And they've identified. That's why they're coming. So we do it. But when we start, if government, for example, there was a law to do mandatory testing, then that's when we can have that problem. But at the moment, we know there's a problem in the family, and they've come just to help. So we are happy to resolve that problem as a laboratory. Coming to the diseases we're doing. So if there is no mother to the deceased,
yes,
we can then get their remains, so we can exhume, get the remains, and then we can use that to do DNA to compare to the child who's claiming to be a child. Yes, so we've had those cases
as well.
Yes.
So you see, I think that can be done to exhume and then do. It's quite laborious, but it's something that is important. Can you also, like, for the people, the crimes that people were accused, where you have got the other people who have they were accused, but they are in court, but they are still doubting that they were not the right persons. Can you go in retrospect, maybe the case happened 20 years ago, to try and redig it and then come out?
Yes, so currently in Zambia, I think we don't have the retrial once a sentence is done. You can't, I'm not sure if that is possible in Zambia, unless I think we change the laws where someone is already convicted and they want a retrial, and then we can then start the process again. And also, like, because we are not just starting retrial, mind you, we're starting like almost investigating that case. So I'm not sure whether we have such laws in Zambia that allow retrial after a conviction or a sentence is passed. We don't have. But police have, the moment we started, they have people who are already in police custody who have not yet gone to court. They are bringing samples to us, and we are analyzing. And when we find that they are not the ones, those people are being released from police custody. Yes.
I think we need to look at that thing of retrial, because now with this technology in the US, I've seen some people 40 years in prison, they come out. Something to think about. I don't know where to go, but I think something. So we are running out of time, Mr. Makasa. You have to tell me now, what is your message to the viewers out there, daddies who are doubting, mothers who are under distress? What's your advice?
So the simple advice is that when you are in doubt,
yes,
you can declare a dispute through the court, the church, or the chief. Then they will send you to our laboratory, and you are going to do the analysis, and just to clear your mind. Don't fight, don't become physical. There's a lab that can help you understand these things, and there are institutions that can help you get over these things. So when you are in doubt, consult our laboratory.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Mr. Makasa, for coming through to our show.
I appreciate it.
Viewers, that's what we had for you, the DNA paternity testing. The story can continue. Download your TeleDoctor app we can link you to Mr. Makasa. Call our customer care line 0979 904046. We can discuss that and link you to and give you the advice that you need as well. So just a few announcements from your teledoctor team. We are running a number of clinics at Woodland Specialist Clinic. So please, if you are looking for a skin specialist, you have got rashes, you've got eczema, you've got keloids, we've got doctors that can help you actually deal with those skin conditions. So call our customer line. The number again is displayed on the screen for the teledoctor customer line 0979 904046. The same thing for men. Please do call if you've got a problem with the men issues, bedroom issues. We can help with that. Please just call your teledoctor customer line. And also for corporates, yesterday we were at Ziale. Thank you very much to the Ziale management for allowing teledoctor to come into your promises. I always listen about Ziale as a place where everyone fails. So yesterday I was saying that it was a good place where we were discussing health issues. We had a discussion about just workplace wellness and also financial kind of like, because we know health and wealth are linked. So the teledoctor brings this together, and in the next few weeks, I'll also be bringing those issues on TV so that we can discuss, because we know your hypertension might be caused by your financial problems. So we have to deal with this in combination. So that's your teledoctor. If you're a corporate company like we were at Ziale, we have been at Indo Zambia Bank, we can come and talk to you about how do you manage your health and wealth, and we screen you for all those NCDs. All right, so that's your teledoctor services. I have to leave now. Thank you for listening in, and thank you for calling in, for everyone that called in, and to Mr. Makasa who came in the studio. This continues. You can also call us after we have finished, so it's not the end. Even on our Facebook pages, teledoctor, you can put that question. We can help you. This is Professor Wilbrod Mtale saying thank you for watching. Until next week, God bless.
Ambuya, are you okay? Thankfully, with the teledoctor app, you can get premium healthcare from the comfort of your home. With the teledoctor app, all it takes is a click, and you could not only have a nurse or doctor come and see you, you can also receive specialized services such as nursing and physiotherapy.
You see, teledoctor aims to make access to healthcare services cheaper, faster, and convenient.
Shani. Hester! How are you? Fine, thank you. How are you? You like white spoon sugar? Oh, yes, I do. Hi. Thank you so much. Stir it up. Stir a little happiness. Stir a little sweetness. And add some sugar to my world. Hey. Stir it up. There's no sugar.